All right, so today we're diving into Alabama's really ambitious plan to completely reshape its prison system. The core idea is fascinating. They're saying that success after prison isn't just, not getting arrested again. It's about building a whole new life, a stable, productive one. But here's the big question. What happens when a vision that lofty crashes into the cold, hard numbers of reality? Well, that's what we're here to find out.
And this single sentence, this is really the heart of the entire thing. Re-entry success is not simply a safe release, it is a safe future. Think about that for a second. It's a complete shift in thinking. The goal isn't just to, manage the day someone walks out. It's about building a real foundation for the long haul. And that's a huge promise, not just from the state, but to every single person and family touched by this system.
So that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to break down this powerful vision piece by piece, and then we're going to hold it up against the reality. First up, we'll explore exactly what this safe future is supposed to look like according to the proposal. After that, we'll dig right into the official data to see what's happening on the ground today.
Okay, let's get into it. Part 1, the vision for success. And you've got to understand, this isn't about just making a few small tweaks around the edges. This proposal is aiming to set a totally new standard for what it even means to successfully come back home.
So just look at this definition. Prepared, supported, and accountable. Those three words are absolutely key. This goes so far beyond the old simple metric of, did they get rearrested? It's a much bigger, more, human picture of what stability and well-being actually look like. So, what does prepared actually look like on the ground? Well, the proposal gets really specific. And look at this list. This is basically the essential toolkit for day one. We're not just talking about a bus ticket home, we're talking a verified housing plan. Not just good luck finding a job, but an actual employment or training placement. Plus, access to healthcare, a state ID, and a real community support network. This is what being prepared is supposed to mean in practice.
Okay, so how do you actually achieve all that? Well, the plan lays out a very deliberate, step-by-step journey. It's not some one-size-fits-all deal. It's a structured pathway from incarceration all the way back to the community.
And here it is. They call it the 5R pathway. It's actually a pretty logical progression. It starts with revive, which is all about addressing past trauma. From there, you move to rehabilitate, using proven treatments for things like substance use. Then comes rebuild, where the focus is on education and getting real-world job skills. After that, restore, which is about repairing relationships and taking accountability. And only after all of that do you get to the final step, release. So the whole point of this pathway is to make sure that the person walking out the door isn't just someone who served their time. The idea is they've actively worked on the issues that might have led them to prison in the first place, and critically, they're equipped with actual credentials to go out and build a new life. That, right there, is the vision. All right. Now we have to pivot. We've just walked through the ideal blueprint for success, but now it's time for the reality check. We're going to look at the raw data and see the incredible pressure the Alabama prison system is actually under.
And the first, most basic challenge is just overcrowding. Look at these numbers. On one side, you've got the number of people the system was designed to hold, a little over 12,000. But on the other side, the actual number of people inside as of August 2024 is more than 20,000.
Let's just boil that down to one number, 168%. The system is operating at 168% of what it was built for. Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. That means for every 10 beds they were supposed to have, they're trying to fit nearly 17 people. That kind of strain affects absolutely everything: staffing, safety, and of course, any hope of running the kinds of programs we've been talking about.
Okay, so keeping that context in mind, that intense overcrowding, let's start to measure the gap. We're going to compare those big programmatic goals with what's actually happening with the population.
So remember that total population number? 20,360 people inside as of August 2024. Now, with that many people, let's see how many are actually being reached by the very programs designed to help them succeed when they get out.
Okay, so out of those more than 20,000 people, how many are in the state's flagship supervised reentry program? This is a super important program for folks getting close to release. The answer? 5. Now, that's not a typo. Not 500, not 5,000. 5 total.
And this isn't a new problem either.
Just look at the trend over time for graduates of all in-house reentry programs. Back in 2015, you had nearly 5,300 graduates. Fast forward to 2021, and that number has absolutely plummeted to less than 400. Now, it's bounced back a tiny bit, but the number for 2024 is still just a fraction of what it was a decade ago. We're talking about thousands of people who just aren't getting the preparation that this whole new vision is built on.
So, when a system is this strained and can't provide solid re-entry programming, what happens? Well, you get a pretty predictable outcome, something experts call the revolving door. So let's take a look at the data and see who is actually coming into Alabama's prisons every month.
This chart is, well, it's really revealing. Just look at the biggest slice of the pie. Nearly 40% of everyone admitted in August 2024 weren't there for a new crime. Nope. They were people whose parole or probation was revoked, often for a technical issue, which sends them right back to prison. So they're coming back in from the community. Compare that to the slice for new commitments. That's only about 1 in 5 people.
And here's the official number that captures that revolving door. The state's 3-year recidivism rate is 23%. So what does that mean? It means that nearly 1 out of every 4 people released from a prison in Alabama is back under state custody within just 3 years.
And this brings us right back to where we started, to the whole mission of this reform proposal. It explicitly says its goal is to break this exact cycle. The proposal itself calls out the revolving door cycle and says the answer is long-term stability. So you see, the vision is a direct response to the very problem that the data is showing us.
So let's just put it all together. The vision is for a system built on preparedness and stability. The reality? A system drowning at 168% capacity. The vision calls for a structured pathway of support for everyone. The reality? 5 people in the main reentry program. The vision is aiming for long-term success. The reality? A 23% recidivism rate. The gap between the two is, well, it's just stark.
Which, of course, leaves us with this one final massive question. The vision for a safe future is incredibly clear, and the data on the current reality, that's just as clear. So the challenge isn't just about having a good plan on paper. It's about how you can possibly bridge that enormous gap in a system that is already strained far beyond its limits. And that really is the fundamental question at the very heart of Alabama's prison reform debate.